Hey guys, good to see you. It's weird being in this big room, but I kind of like it. So I have a couple of new agents to welcome today. So first I will start with Megan Marks. Megan Marks joined us recently. If you'd love to stand up and introduce yourself, that'd be great. Cool. Welcome, Megan. Thank you. And we also have Heather Powell, launching Heather Powell Residential Group. Welcome. Welcome, Heather. And also, last month we welcomed Brooke Roeder, and she's here today. So if Brooke would stand up.
I've been in residential real estate for almost 20 years. Before that, I owned a vacation rental management company for about a decade. So I'm a national company, and I'm glad to be here.
Welcome, Brooke. Thank you, guys. We're super glad to have you here. All right, Bailey, you're next.
Hey, everybody.
Get up.
All right, I got a couple things to talk about. First, yep, if anybody was wondering, I am. My maternity leave. So I am going to be gone October 27th, all of November. And then I'll be back for goal setting in December and then kind of off and on in January. So if you guys have questions in November, don't call me. Just kidding. If you guys really do need anything, you know me, I can't not work. So lean on Shelby, lean on Eric. And if they need me, then I guess they'll call me and find me. With that, our last kind of project that we're pushing is agent outreach. So everybody look forward to emails from Shelby and I to schedule calls. For those of you that are newer with us, we like to check in quarterly-ish, just to kind of see how you guys are doing in your personal life, in business, how your goals are going, see some things that you guys are loving about the brokerage and things that we could work on. So be as candid and open as you would like to be. Stays between us. And couple of things, we will reach out to team leads. If you are a team member and would like to have a call, reach out to us separately. We normally just reach out to the team lead. And if you're somebody who has onboarded in the past 3 months, we probably talk to you almost every day. So we probably won't proactively reach out to you. But if you guys would like to schedule a call, just email us and we're happy to schedule one with you. But that's all that I've got. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Bailey. And I will point out that we've encouraged her to take more than 1 month of maternity. So we've encouraged her to take 3, but last time I think she took 1.5 months. So probably she'll be gone for 1.5 months. We're going to start, guys, and we're going to kind of go through this a little bit quickly because we're going to talk to you guys about something that's pretty important. But we're going to go through all of our congratulations to start. And so our September key results for the million plus closers, Dochin Realty Group closed 6.9 million in September. Congratulations. Denny closed 2.7, Jackie closed 2.4, and Arlene closed 1.1. Powers Group closed 3.4 million. I don't know why Rita didn't break that out, but congratulations on the 3. Oh, was it Ruth? Ruth did 3. All Ruth. Congrats, guys. And the McGuire team did 2.2 million with Craig at 1.6. They're actually online right now. They're driving back from Durango, so doing that while they're remote, which is awesome. Casey closed 2 million. Brooke closed 1.9 million. Jeremy closed 1.1 million. Lindsay closed 1.1 million, and Molly closed 1 million. So congratulations, everybody. It's a tough market. Getting a lot of stuff closed. 1 million plus contracts. Dochin Realty Group put 7.1 million on the board. Katie did 4 million. Nancy did 1 million. Casey closed put 5 million on the board last month. Jeremy did 3 million. The McGuire team did 2.2 million with Craig at 1.6. Burbis Group did 1.8 million. Lindsay contracted 1.8 million. Abby contracted 1.7 million, and Julie contracted 1.6 million. Congratulations, everybody. Slow time of the year again. Everybody's still working, which is great. Listings, obviously, this is kind of the slower time of the year. Dochin Realty Group, they listed 3.7 million. McGuire team listed 1.8 million, and Burbis Group listed 1.6 million. Congratulations, everybody. I would like to point out that this is my favorite time of the year to go on listing appointments. And the reason for that is that you are likely not listing that property this year. So you go there, you give them a listing presentation, and it's really awesome to tell them, look, unless you have some reason that you need to list right now, let's go ahead and get the agreement signed. Let's start working together. And we're going to plan to put this on the market mid to late February next year. So it's a really awesome time. My least favorite time to go on listing appointments is in July, August, because the market's in decline. So you guys go on these appointments, go on as many as you possibly can, take those listings. Don't tell them a price that they're going to list right now. Give them a range and tell them that you will look at the pricing again after the first of the year, and you're going to set them up for success. If they're in a situation where they do have to sell, there's something happened with life, and they can't wait until next February, March, talk to them about it. It's not a great situation, but hard conversations, whenever you put everything on the table, they're not that bad. So get that hard part over. Hey, we're going into the really slow time. This is the worst market since 2011, but here's how I'm going to help you. And if you do that, you're going to have a good experience, and they'll have a great experience. So this is what I was just talking about, pending properties by month. And this is an informational that we've shown to sellers and to buyers for a long, long time. And I always have known anecdotally that the market really stinks in the fall, winter, and then it gets way better in the spring. And when you look at the chatter on Facebook, I see that. Like, people who haven't been in the business for a long time always think the sky's falling in the fall, winter. They think we're in the best market ever whenever the spring comes back around. That's just seasonality, guys. And it happens every year with the exception of the 2008 financial crisis and the pandemic, right? So it takes a lot for people's behavior to change. It takes a pandemic or it takes a financial crisis for them to change their behavior. We are not looking at either one of those, hopefully. So you can rely on this and make sure and preach it from the mountaintop, right? Tell everybody this, because it will be like clockwork. You will see the market come back next spring, and just plan for it. September market stats, excuse me. And please stop me and, ask any questions, any insights. These are super preliminary, and I started to run sold volume, but it was so down because agents have not input their sold data yet. So we didn't even look at it. My gut looking at past months is that sold units will be up this month. We did look at contracts. Most of the time agents do go ahead and enter contracts because they want the showings to stop. So it is relatively reliable. You won't see that change a whole lot. You will see new listings will be 100% reliable. You will see that the average price, median price won't change very much. It might wiggle a little bit, a point, up or down, but you can expect that this is what will happen this month. So under contract pending was up 7% versus last year. Put that in perspective. What was happening last year at this time? Sky was falling, right? So we're up from sky is falling. I guess that's pretty good news, right? And the average sold price has leveled off. So we're down only 1% year over year. That's because we're now comparing year over year with the similar down market that we're currently in. We will likely see things start to improve on a year over year basis in the spring. We're going to be comparing next spring with this past spring, which was down. That's whenever things are going to start feeling good again. And that's my prediction. It's not 100%. I don't have a crystal ball, but that's the highest likelihood. I'll email you guys these numbers. We're going to have better, more reliable numbers in 3 or 4 days. And we'll send those to you guys as soon as we have them. Talking points with your clients. We're in an improving market. How quickly is it improving? Not sure. It's going to depend on what the Fed does. And so this is what I'm looking at pretty closely. This is a website that a good friend of mine who's really, really smart, much smarter than me, it crunches the numbers and it tells you the % chance that the Fed is going to raise or lower rates at the next meeting. After the CPI report comes out, this will get much more reliable. It'll go to like 90%, up or down. But if you want to just cut through all the noise, don't read the news, which is what I do. I hate reading the news. You can just go straight here and you can see what's going to happen next month, and they'll actually predict out for a year. Right now, they're predicting without a strong, reliability that rates are going to start improving next June. Plan for that. It could change. If we have some crisis, rates will start improving at a faster rate. If the CPI report comes back hot, they might raise rates. But right now you can just look at this and you can cut through all the clutter, all the BS, coming from both sides, and just look at what the Fed is going to do. That's going to dial up the job market. It's going to dial down mortgage rates. And that's going to affect our real estate market the absolute most. Right. Not a lot of news, guys, on the market stats front. We've kind of been seeing the same thing for the past 6 months. We're in the trough right now. Things are going to start marginally improving. The only question is how quickly. Did you guys hear about the big acquisition last week? Silverton Mountain got sold, man. It was like the biggest news for me whenever I woke up. Then my phone started exploding, and we saw this, right? My phone was, ringing off the hook from Realty Austin agents, from Compass agents, and from you guys also. And the big question is, what's Eric gonna do, right? Who remembers OKR meetings at Galaxy Cafe whenever we fit in that little tiny room, right? Who remembers OKR meetings at the park that Sharon mentioned, right? We don't fit there anymore. I didn't plan this big room today. It's good that they gave it to us because I don't think we would have fit in Auditorium C, but we're probably gonna have to start, meeting in here. So whenever I talked with agents who, it was veiled concern, right? Like what is Eric going to do with the company someday? The question is always, are you gonna sell it? Are you gonna cash out? I'll get to that slide in a minute, but the answer is no. There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow with real estate companies because they're just never worth anything, right? But I wanted to walk you guys kind of through where we've been, what our game plan is. I'm a massive fan of what I call alignment. And what I mean by that is that if everybody in the organization has similar goals, like your goals are aligned, what you guys want, aligns really well with what the company wants, then it allows us to work. It allows us to do what we care about, which is to help people buy and sell houses and provide really, really excellent service. So when you remove these distractions because everybody is aligned, you will produce more. You'll get more great reviews. You're going to get more, referrals. Oh, and that cheesy word I love, super fans, right? You're going to create more super fans. And that's our goal. So my goal and our goal is to create super fans of all of you guys. And this is so cheesy and it doesn't come naturally to me, but that is absolutely our goal, is to create super fans out of you guys. Everybody in this room, because I know you all, your goal, whether it's conscious or not, is to create super fans out of your clients. That is well aligned, right? We all are very, very aligned. We can work together. We don't have any distractions. So I wanted to share you guys my master plan, okay? Don't tell anybody about this, all right? We're gonna put the recording online, but don't share the link. And it starts with where we've been. So we wrote our mission statement in 2018. And I'll have to read it because in my mind, I distill it down to happy agents, happy staff, happy clients. That's what it boils down to, right? We'll build the best real estate company in Austin filled with happy, high-performing agents and employees who continuously create happy clients. Happy, happy, happy. Right? The reason for that, and you guys all know that I'm like a systems guy, when people are happy, they're easier to manage. When people are happy, they're performing better. When people are happy, they're making more money. The company makes more money. So everything just kind of hums when people are happy. When people are upset, like management problems, right? When people are upset, they're not performing as highly because they're distracted. They're worrying about something else. So as corny as it sounds, I strongly believe that if we, look at this happiness quotient, the organization just runs better. And that's like my logic brain, why this works. It also feels really good. One of my mentors told me 5 years ago, he said, one of your top line goals needs to be only doing business that's fun and interesting. I hit it, guys. I'm only doing business that's fun and interesting to me. I'd encourage everybody here to also have that top line goal. I don't want the company to ever be a drag. I don't want the company to ever be something that I look at and go, oh man, I really don't have to work on this, right? It'll change, and my role is going to change, and we'll talk about that. But we want everybody to be happy because it's fun and it's interesting when everybody's happy. So part one, we have a 2-part master plan, 100 agents and $1 billion in annual sales. And I want to let everybody know that. I've spoken about this to a lot of you guys because everybody wants to know, how big are we going to get? In terms of how big we're going to get, I'm highly confident that we can get to 100 agents and not compromise on quality. We will never, ever compromise on quality. And the $1 billion in sales, beyond the fact that it's a really cool number, it's very pertinent because I've always observed that whenever we average 10 million a year per agent, which we do, we always have, we've been higher in the past, but like that's the number that we kind of target, everybody's happy. Good agents produce as much as they want to. That could be 5 million. Steve Crossland probably sell 1 house this year. He's a phenomenal agent. He's an incredible part of our organization. He's sold much more than that in the past. He sells as much as he wants to, right? Everybody here is either already selling as much as they want to, or they're on their way. Happy, good agents sell as much as they want to. And I've found from my gut that around 10 million a year in average agent production is a good number for us to look at. And it sounds really cool. So I can't wait to get to 100 agents and $1 billion in sales.
How many agents do we have right now?
71. So the first step is that I had to get really good at selling houses myself. This is in 2012. And coming out of the recession, where I got my butt kicked and I built a brokerage the absolute wrong way because I started when I was 25, I wanted nothing to do with ever managing another agent. I just wanted to sell as many houses as I could. Guys, I crushed it in 2012. Look at this, 48 transactions and 8 million in sales. 45, sorry, I was off. Whenever I give you guys the advice, don't do leases. Leases accounted for 40% of my units and 5% of my production, right, of my take home. It's miserable. You have to do them sometimes, but it's learned, right? But going through all of these transactions, even though they were a low dollar amount, helped me learn how to sell houses. And this is my personal production. This is up to 2017. And, you know, without talking too much about me, like that's whenever I wanted to just quit and move to Antarctica, because Bailey and I did 100 deals roundabout for 3 years in a row, and it just wasn't a lot of fun. So because of that, and because I realized that's not how you can scale a company, that's not how you can build things bigger, I said, great, we need to shift the focus. So step 2 is partner with agents that are better than me. And we started doing this while I was producing, and we really lucked out because we had Bailey was our very first hire, Will was our very first agent, Tara came 2 years later. I was not very good at hiring. So that was like the universe just helping me, right? I'll take the luck, I will. Later on, we had to learn how to hire and whatnot, but this was step 2, partner with people who are better than me. And I can strongly argue that those 3 are better than me. I can strongly argue that everybody we're hiring right now is better at selling houses than I am, because let's face it, I'm kind of a grump, right? So this is what happens. This is 2018, and you can see that the company did 110 million, and my production accounted for like 20% of that. And so that started to be successful. Side note, I made the most money in my life in 2017, and I made significantly less money in 2018, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was to start, building the company. Step 3, lean into systems and tech, my happy place. So with this newfound time that I had, I was able to really focus on systems and tech. And it's funny because I would say systems capitalized, tech like small. Good tech is always born from good systems. Casey always noticed how much time we put into Tetra. And a lot of you guys don't know what Tetra is. Tetra is what we still use for our internal documentation. It grew so big and kind of unwieldy that nobody could find anything. So we had to move it over to the company guide. It's a little bit easier to find. But we documented everything. We got really good at our listing process. We put a lot of assets online that helps you guys, things like that, pending units, that you can explain things to people more easily. And that's what I was able to do with my time. Now I was still selling, and I didn't like it very much, but I kind of had to. But this is where my focus sort of shifted with systems and tech. And we still work on that a lot. And without zooming too far into the future, that's where I will end up, is just doing systems and tech and like managing the people that are building that stuff. You see our org chart, that's changed a little bit since then, but we started documenting lots and lots of stuff. So step 4, focus on culture. Man, I used to tell people 10 years ago, don't ever go to meetings, they're a waste of time. Just focus on selling. That's all you need to do, right? Learn kind of along the way by accident that culture is like super, super important. We made some bad hires, not necessarily in the company. Like the worst hire we've ever made was a property manager that was just terrible. And I would wake up early in the morning, I would just start writing like, why is this person not, I mean, I wouldn't literally write that down, but like, who are we, you know, mentally, like, why is this person not a good fit? And it was things like owning your work. It was things like really caring, stuff like that. And one of my buddies turned me on to HubSpot's culture code. And if you guys have seen that super long presentation that we have online, that is modeled after how HubSpot does it. We didn't steal any of their core values or any of their mission statement or anything like that, but we modeled it kind of after that. We always improve, and I've learned that that is not the best way to communicate our culture. So one goal we have this year is to make that a little bit easier. It'll turn into probably a 5-minute video or something like that. But we wrote it down, and Alex Glidden, and if any of you guys know Alex, he's a really, really smart guy. He and I iterated for about 6 months on writing the company's culture code. And that was putting together our core values. That was like chopping some down, putting some back, trying to make it not too long, making sure that people could understand it. I thought whenever we published this, that like everybody would read it and like, wow, people are just going to start trying to come to the company, right? It doesn't work that way. You have to hire the right people. Those people then become evangelists for the company, whether conscious or not. And your culture sort of spreads like a good virus, right? And that is kind of where we are now. And that's kind of what's happened. And when we recruit now, the number one thing that we look at is cultural fit. And we'll talk about recruiting at the very, very end, because I know everybody's always worried, you know, are you going to grow too fast? Are you going to grow too big? Because when you grow, that's the easiest way to screw up your culture. I can tell you guys, going back to happy, 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 you have to get the culture right. You have to. And that was pretty lucky that we did that in 2018. But this is where we are. You know, why do we care so much about culture? Because we want to continue to build a company that we love. That's why. Step 5, grow intentionally. So we had all of these things in place. And it was around 2020 or so that I thought to myself, we have a good thing and we probably can start growing. You know, didn't hurt that like leads were falling out of the sky and we didn't have enough people to answer the phone. So we had to, you know, hire up for that. But we started growing intentionally. I will tell you right now, we made really bad hires in 2020. We made some really good hires also, but that was when I learned a whole lot about how you hire people and how you sort of vet them and figure out, are they a good fit or not? It's not just production, by the way. It's mostly has to do with work ethic, mostly has to do with caring. This is where we are. So 2018, 9 agents, 2020, just under 20 agents, and then we're at 71 right now in 2023. I don't know when we'll hit 100. It'll be sometime between tomorrow and 2 years from now. I'm not sure. But we'll hit that. We will at some point in time. And they'll all be really good. Not all of them, like some of them will probably leave, but most of them will be really good because we're pretty good at hiring now. Step 6, staff up, but stay lean and humble. And we'll talk about why that's important right now. We check our egos at the door. This is something we wrote in 2018. Whenever we interview people, we always tell people we're partnering with other agents who are smart, motivated, always do what's right with their client, and reasonable. That reasonable is a code word for normal and cool, right? That means not massively egotistical. And you guys know lots of agents who produce a whole lot that you want nothing to do with. And I can tell you this, I want nothing to do with them either. I don't care how much they produce. The management drain, one of my good friends calls it brain damage. And that's something people don't generally quantify when they're making decisions. And he taught me that. And like, I always think about the brain damage whenever I'm making any decision. The brain damage to production ratio is way out of whack with egotistical agents. And we're never going to make those hires. It just doesn't make any sense, right? Humility is very important. It's a strength from a leadership perspective, right? So whenever your leaders are humble, and you have to think about it, you have to be consciously humble, right? Because ego can kind of get in the way. It allows us to listen more. It allows us to acknowledge that we're fallible, that we can make mistakes. And when we make those mistakes, to correct them. That's really, really important. It's part of Kaizen, which is a business philosophy that I'll talk about in a minute that I'm absolutely in love with. So humility is important. And we're very conscious about that. And we talk about that a whole lot. All of you guys, whether conscious of this or not, you all are pretty high on the humility meter. And that's phenomenal. There's agents in here who produce the top 0.1%, and they don't think it's all about them. They know that there's some luck involved. They know they're good, but they're not just thinking about themselves. And that's because you guys are all humble. So, I mean, pat on the back, right? Stay humble. It's really important. Lean, lean, lean. So I am cheap, and I'm also obsessed with efficiency. So lean comes very, very naturally to me. Lean is a concept that you implement in your business, and it effectively means that, you know, you try to make sure that you are not doing anything. Well, it's the opposite. We bloated, right? You're staffing up when you need to. You know, you're staying as lean as you possibly can, because unnecessary things cause waste and they cause friction. Whenever you have people in an organization that are not doing anything, it is a management headache. It gets in the way of everybody else. It's a distraction. So, you know, Shelby, Bailey, Marilee's like, if we get too lean, please tell me. Like, I don't want you guys working more than 40 hours a week, but there's a reason why we don't make a hire until we know that we need to. The good side effects are it allows us to be more profitable more easily. It allows us to offer you guys better splits. It allows us to pay better, which is important. We have less attrition. Our retention rate here for agents and staff who are great fits is as close to zero. I'm sorry, as close to 100% as it can be. There's literally one agent that left that I would say, yeah,
I'm done with you.
Right?
Thanks.
There's people who moved away. There's people that, you know, retired or whatnot. But by and large, the agents who've left, like, I wish them absolutely the best, but there's a reason, right? And so that's why, you know, our retention is so high. One reason, because we run so lean. Part two. So this kind of takes us to today. We're staffing up right now. We haven't hit 100 agents and $1 billion in sales yet. It's coming. What's next? Eric, are you going to sell the company? No. Happy agents, happy staff, happy clients. Happy, happy, happy. That is our goal in perpetuity. We want you guys to be happy. We want you guys to create happy clients. We want our staff to be happy. Nobody in the organization should think that their job sucks. Shouldn't. Everybody should be happier. That's my goal. That's my long-term goal. I don't know why I had that slide. So step one in the happiness goal: change slowly, listen, and make corrections. What Bailey mentioned to you about outreach, that you guys are going to hear from us, whether you like it or not, it's because we like to listen. We like to know, are we doing things right? What don't you like? What can we do better? And we're not afraid to roll things back. If we roll something out and it doesn't work, we want to know. Kaizen, if you want to read about, you know, something I happened upon 6 or 7 years ago and strongly believe in, this is a Japanese business approach. And what it means is small incremental changes. Large efforts generally fail, and they're generally very inefficient. If you work on something for a year and then roll it out to everybody and say, hey, this is what we're now doing, who's going to roll that back? Who's going to admit if it's not great? Nobody. You just invested all this time into it. There's no way that's going to be bad, right? It's got to be good. The problem is it's usually bad. The problem is it's usually not perfect. You didn't iterate on your way to that effort, so you just have this big thing that's out there. This is why you'll see us make a lot of changes, you know, not a lot, but we make small changes, and then we listen to you guys and we ask you guys for feedback. How is this? I had this idea last week about adding our preferred vendors to Follow Up Boss. I thought it was great because then you can see what your lender's emailing to your clients, what your what your listing coordinator's emailing to your clients. I talked with an agent who was really excited about it. When I sent you guys that survey, guess how many responses I got? 2. Are we going to roll that out? No. The agent who's excited about it, yeah, we're going to test it and see if it works. But when you listen and you don't think, hey, like, I know everything, that's how you can really improve an organization. And that also goes back to the humility thing. If I was like, no, they're all wrong, they don't know how good this is, I'm going to show them. That's a really egotistical thing to do. And it's also really stupid. And I try to be smart. You know, I don't always succeed, but try to. Suggestion box. This is why you guys have the suggestion box. Use it. You know, a mentor told me that 1-star reviews are a gift. They don't feel that way. But negative feedback, we don't get it a whole lot, but it is a gift. The first thing you do whenever somebody gripes about you, your service, the brokerage, whatever, you go, is this person my customer? Like they might be somebody you're working with, but they're actually not your fit, or they could be crazy. If they're not your customer or they're crazy, just listen to them, calm them down. But if they are your customer and they're sane, really listen to them. What could I have done better? That's what everybody should try to implement whenever you have any sort of feedback that's not awesome. And we live by that. We really, really want to know, what can we do? What can we do better? I won't always agree with you, but I will always listen. We all will. Step 2, always lead by proving value. You guys have heard me say this, that when you prove value first, you don't have to sell, right? If you're proving value to somebody, why would you need to sell them? You just showed them. So I told my son this, bragging's silly, show somebody how good you are. You guys do that for your clients. We do that for you guys. So that's a core value we have. And that's something that we will continue to do. Whenever we make decisions, we're never going to look at it and go, well, it looks really good, so we should probably do it. We're going to say, does this provide value? Does it make you guys happier? Does it make your clients happier? Does it make the organization more efficient? Does it make the organization run better? If the answer is not yes to at least one of those, we're not going to do it. There's just no reason to. We're never going to do something just for show. We're never going to lie to you guys and say, hey, I've got this really awesome shiny thing and here's why it's so great. We'll always try new things and maybe say, hey, we think it's going to be good, but we want to hear from you. But we're always going to prove value to you guys, always. Step 3, keep blinders on. There's an email I got from a friend literally a week ago, and this guy's a broker in Florida. He says right at the top, my ADD is kicked in, right? He is. He doesn't, like, I'm pretty good at focusing, or I think I am. This guy's not, but that's kind of what, he provides a lot of value. I provide value to him. And here's what he said. Apparently, there's a large company looking to expand throughout the US and offering 4 to 5 times net operating income. That's unheard of. So in terms of, will Eric sell the company? The typical, he says here, is 2.5 to 3.5, and it's not. The typical for a real estate company is 2 times NOI. Does everybody, let me explain what that means. So NOI is profit. It's how much did you make last year? When real estate companies sell, they generally sell for 2 times that. There's a lot of really good things about being in the real estate business. That's not one of them. The reason why people love tech so much for startups, they sell for between 10 and 15 times NOI. That's why you see these massive exits with tech. Bramlett Residential, 2 times. Why would I not just continue to operate for 2 more years? That's my logic behind it. I'm promising everybody here, I have no interest in that. If a company came around and wanted to offer me 5 times, probably not, right? I'm telling you now, I'm not going to sell it. So at that point in time, I would have to decide how much is my word worth. I value my honesty pretty highly. So there's a less than 1% chance that anybody would ever give us an offer that we would consider. And there's a less than 1% chance that I would consider any offer unless it was literally insane. And at that point in time, I'm figuring out, how do I pay everybody here because I lied to you 5 years ago or whatever it was. So step 4, remove pay and splits as a distraction by paying well. So this is something that most of our competitors, I think pretty much all of them, haven't done. You have to have a succession plan. I'm not going to live forever. The company will hopefully be around in perpetuity. The way that you have a company running well at the administrative level is to make sure you pay your staff well, right? Make sure that they care. Make sure that they aren't looking around at other companies because they're happy, 1, and pay is not a distraction, 2. They're not looking at it going, I think I might be worth more, right? This doesn't mean that we wildly overpay or anything like that. It means that we're paying on the generous side of fair, the high side of market is what that means. Same thing for you guys. We're not going to compare ourselves to what I call low value brokers, because low value brokers don't provide any value, and we're a high value brokerage. If you look at high value brokerages, we offer the best splits in Austin. Not crazy. I mean, we can't offer anything crazy, but they're the high side of market. They're the generous side of fair. And that's what we are always going to do. A good friend of mine is interviewing for a new job as a CPO, really high paying, really good job. And we were having lunch and he said, he's talking about the comp on it. And he said, yeah, I just can't have pay as a distraction because this is what this guy said. This is where I came up with this. He said, I can't have pay as a distraction because I'm ready to go in there and kick ass. That's what he said. You guys need to be ready to just go kick ass all the time. And you shouldn't have to think about, do I have a fair deal? Is my split changing? You know, most companies, whenever you graduate to a higher level split, you have to prove it every year. A couple of reasons we don't do that. One is that I think that everybody should be able to slow down if they want to. I think everybody should be able to have a down year and not be penalized for it. Everybody should be able to like retire or pseudo retire and not feel bad about getting a worse split. The second reason is I don't want to have to worry about it. I don't want to have to go through every single year and go, okay, what splits does everybody have? That's a massive, massive distraction. You guys at the end of the year should worry about, what am I doing to improve my business? How many pies am I going to give away this year? How am I going to touch base with all my clients? You shouldn't have to worry about what's my split going to be next year. So we just remove it. It's just not a distraction. It's standardized. Is it smart for small businesses to pay their staff well? This is from ChatGPT, and I was just looking for a confirmation, and ChatGPT did tell me that I was right. So yeah, I'll send anybody a link who wants to see it. Step 5, hire myself out of a job. I like to snowboard. Everybody knows that. In order to do that as much as I want to, like, it would be super irresponsible of me to continue having to be here every single day. That doesn't mean I'm leaving, probably ever, no matter how much you guys may like for me to. But, you know, our succession plan, Bailey will be the managing broker next year, like literally. Bailey is way better at management than I am. Bailey knows how to answer 99% of the questions. I know how to answer 90% of them. So you put everything together, that works really, really well. So that'll be like the first hire, right? And she's kind of already there. Next hire will be, I'm managing recruiting right now. I'm not the best for recruiting. So that'll be another hire we make. I'm still have my hand in the LC processes, things like that. That'll be another hire we make. We probably will never hire somebody who's 100% in charge of system strategy, and probably not marketing either. That's something that I'm pretty good at. But whenever I hire myself out of a job, we improve the organization. It doesn't get worse. We pay them well, so they don't want to look anywhere. And it allows you guys to have a really, really stable environment. You guys don't have to worry about, does Eric want to sell the company so he can snowboard more? Not going to happen. Oh, that's me looking at strategy, by the way. It's actually not. That's Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover. I'm not sure if anybody's seen it. Step 6, operate indefinitely. And this is the last slide. So if everything works, which I hope it does, it probably will, there's zero reason for us to ever stop operation. If the industry goes away, sure. Like AI finally puts us out of a job, which they're going to have to do mortgage and insurance first, then maybe, right? That might not operate at that point in time. I'll tell you why later. We can have lunch or something like that. It's something that's thought of, not meant to be demeaning. So anyways, you'll see if something dramatic changes, there's what they call seismic shift, but probably not going to happen. Highest probability is that we will operate this company as long as Austinites will have us. And I think they'll have us for a long time because everybody cares a lot, because everybody's happy, staff's happy, clients are happy, we're happy. Hopefully it makes me happy, and we're good. So this is what we have, guys. I do want to talk about recruiting in a minute because I know everybody's been somewhat concerned about that. What is our process? But I would love to have feedback on the master plan. Is it stupid? You didn't go to work? Hope it works. I think it will. The goal here, you always want to have a goal. The goal here is to assure everyone that we have a plan. The goal here is to assure everybody that you don't need to worry about where you are because you have plenty of things to worry about with regards to your clients and making sure that your clients have a great experience. So my goal is to remove every distraction so you guys can focus on building your business. So you guys can focus on creating super fans. That's my goal. That's it. So I'll talk about recruiting for a second because it is something that understandably is a concern. Whenever you're growing quickly, it can certainly look like you have a big tent and you're just taking anybody who will come. So I'll be kind of succinct with our process and just understand that this is a process that we iterated upon, since 2020. We've tried things, we've tried lots and lots of things. We tried this company that did cold calls. The agents who are, open to cold calls are not agents we want to work with. We learned that. We tried just seeing if people would come. It doesn't work either. So what we have is what I call a nudge campaign. And that's an email that goes out. Man, if I were 15 years younger, I would like literally go hang out with these guys in Bulgaria. That's who does it for us. And they send these emails that go out. They're like these super funny bro guys that know how to like get emails delivered. And we just have that running. So there's 20,000 agents in Austin. We have those emails going out to 3,000 agents. That's how many agents we are even interested in talking with because their production hits a certain level. We will miss some. There will be some agents who are really excellent, maybe had a down year last year or something like that. You just have to go, okay, that's fine. Like we might miss them. The best way we've found to start conversations is by sending these emails out. The emails say, would you like to have a conversation? Like literally, would you like more information about the company? Would you like to have a conversation? And I have a super long email template that I send them. And I send it to everybody who responds, the email template. Of the people I send the template to, about half of them click on more than just a split. You guys know we track everything. And so I see, like, it's a good sign. It's a green flag. Almost everybody looks at split first, right? Is it fair? Is comp fair? If the next click is culture, that looks good. Looks really good. If I see that they're then opening like every link, that looks really good. Great. Let's get on the phone. So about half of the people that respond to those emails, they act in that way, and I do want to talk with them. When we get on the phone, that turns into an in-person meeting about half of the time. I'm looking for green flags. I'm looking for red flags. If there are red flags, we are not going to meet. If there are not green flags, we're not going to meet. So about half of the people that we get on the phone with turns into an appointment. Of those appointments, 80 to 90% of them turn into an offer because I'm pretty good at vetting these guys over the phone. In order to get to the offer, I meet with them for an hour and a half, and then Bailey meets with them for 30 minutes. We used to joke, we had to fire somebody before they were even onboarded once because they just, it was terrible. It was when we weren't very good at hiring. But we used to joke, I wish we could onboard these guys before we could give them an offer. Well, there's some questions we learned that we can just ask to see, like, is onboarding going to go well, right? Everybody here is, onboarding really well. Everybody here has no problem with, here's a link, go do this. I don't need to baby you through this process, right? And that's kind of what we're looking for. So that's the process. That's how we make sure that everybody's a good cultural fit. There's a lot of questions that I ask to figure out, are they going to be good or not? But I will say in the last year, 2 years almost, like in the last year, certainly, I don't think we made a bad hire. I think even people that ended up, there's a couple of people that left the business. I would still make that hire again. Like they were really good people. If they'd stayed in the business, it would have worked out. So that's our recruiting process. And I want you guys, again, the goal there is assurance, stability. You're not going to have a bunch of, jerks rolling into the next meeting because I don't want a bunch of jerks here just as badly as you guys don't want a bunch of jerks here. So any questions over recruiting at all? Cool. I answered everything. It's great. Oh, here it is. I actually put it on here. All right, cool. Sure.
I have a list of people that if we work with, like in real scale, I'm always reading my agents, but on the other side, are you guys looking at one point we were looking at that? I don't know.
So we need to look at it. So with where real scale is, we're not developing it anymore. We actually are hiring another full-time dev that starts in November to start rebuilding real scale into client portal. At that point in time, yes. So we have the data. And when we start rebuilding it, we will encourage you guys to rate the other clients more because I do want that data. Like if somebody, reaches back out to us, it's a great point for me to look in real scale and say like, did Casey rate him? And she's really, really critical. So as long as Casey rated him like a 3 or higher, I'm joking, but no, to look at it and see like what comments do we have about this person. There was one person actually when we weren't very good at hiring, I did offer her a position, and then a year later, her name came up when I was talking to Jeremy. He was telling me about this nightmare transaction he had. I was like, oh, wow, that was missed bullet right there. So it's really important. And your all's feedback, like I'm not, for privacy reasons, I can't email everybody and say, Heather Powell's thinking about moving over, right? That was huge when Heather wanted to move over. I was not gonna tell anybody that because it can mess up things for them, right? Megan wants to move over. It's like, Megan's awesome. Like I might make a couple of calls to make sure that it goes well, but we can't like go out and pull for that. So yes, the answer is we are going to do that at some point. And please do rate the other clients. We are going to look at it. So this is what we're working on. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
Just give you a quick plug.
Yeah.
I I think hired number 45 in September of 2021.
Yeah.
And 25, 26, 25, 30 people later. It feels like the same. I mean, we're not at Rudy's anymore, but
Yeah. Oh, Rudy's. I forgot to ask who's been to Rudy's. Rudy's is cool.
it feels like the same place. And I mean that in a really good way.
Thank
We've only gotten better as the, over the last 2 years. But I mean, I'm sure there are other people in this room will who agent number one. I'm sure it's going to change a lot. So I'm probably not.
Will, has it changed since we started or no?
Maybe just.
I remember Will told his girlfriend at the time, like they asked, was there like a company Christmas party? He's like, I don't think Eric does that. A long time ago. Jeremy, thank you. And man, you gave me, and you probably remember saying this, but you gave me one of the best compliments ever whenever I asked you, what do you think about the growth? And you said, I think it's fine. I think it's good because, and this is the compliment, you said, I know that if you make a mistake, you're going to recognize it and roll it back. And that's what's required. That's how you can grow and not screw things up is, again, be humble, understand that you're a human and humans make mistakes. And when that happens, acknowledge it and fix it. Right? That's just how you improve. So thank you for that compliment. Heather. Yeah.
Second, I just wanted to say that it was a great process.
Thank you.
And that it was not, I've had other companies over my career.
Yeah.
But it was really the cultural fit and that we said the same words like align and growth and potential. And I think you see the potential in people more than they see it in themselves sometimes. And that's really what pushed me over the edge.
Thank you.
So I'm really grateful.
Thank you. We're thrilled. Like Heather, Megan, Brooke, like couldn't be more thrilled to get to work with all of you guys. So, yeah. And I'm thrilled. And likewise, like everybody in this room, I'm thrilled to work with you. You guys are all awesome. You guys are all, everybody in this room, you're going to produce as much as you want to. That could be 5 million. It could be 105 million. But whatever you decide you want to do, you're going to do it. It's not going to be a straight line. Success is like this, right? So, but you're all going to get there. I know that for sure. What we're working on. So no surprise, client portal. We're pushing on it super hard right now because we have our training on October 24th for real estate reviews. I'm really excited. You guys know I'm always excited about the client portal. But the direction we're going with it, so we are rebuilding the CMA stats functionality from Matrix. Every time I see an agent using a feature in Matrix, I go, cool, how can we do that better? Because my long-term goal is for everybody to never use Matrix because client portal is so much better. So last year when we did the real estate review training, is everybody here familiar with Ninja? Is anybody here not familiar with Ninja? And it's totally fine if you're not. Ninja selling? Yeah. So we did a big effort last year for the real estate reviews. It was new to me. I was like super late to the game with Ninja. And it was a really, really wild success. Like Casey went on the first review and she got a referral on the very first one she went to. If you guys want to know, like, what can I do, this winter, like as many real estate reviews as you can possibly do is what you should do this winter. And we're building the functionality into the client portal. So it's going to look a lot prettier. It's going to be way, way easier to run it. And it's just, you're going to hit print and like 5 pages are going to go as long as we hit the deadline. If we don't hit the deadline, the deadline right now is actually a week before our meeting. And if we don't hit it, we're honestly just going to push the meeting. I don't want to train everybody on Matrix again. I'd much rather train them on client portal. But that's what we're pushing on really, really hard right now. We're sunsetting the SOI spreadsheets hopefully this month. You guys, if you guys were at the busted, SOI or Sphere Nurture meeting we had a couple of weeks ago, apologize. But it is, the functionality's there, the reporting's there. Reed has plugged everybody's stuff in. I haven't been pushing it to you guys super hard because the UI is it's just not quite there yet. But we're still pushing on that. We have one full-time dev on Portal. We have one full-time dev on Sphere Nurture. We're gonna have a third full-time dev on moving real scale over. Oh, cool. So accountability group re-engagement. Raise your hand if you are not in an accountability group right now. Cool. If you're interested, like what we've learned with the accountability groups is that there are different flavors of each group. And sometimes that flavor is not for you. Like, so there's people that engage with accountability group and then they, disengage because that wasn't the right group for them. So we know that there's a lot of value in these groups if it's the right one for you. So I'm not saying like everybody should be in a group, but I am saying that if you are interested and you felt like maybe the first experience wasn't great, that's just because it wasn't for you. So we're going to start reaching out. We're going to ask more questions about, you know, what do you want to get out of these groups? And then we're going to put together some other groups. If you are in a group right now and you're not super happy with it, that is completely fine. Tell us, let us know. Nobody will get their feelings hurt. I promise you. It just means that you want something different than your current group is providing to you. If you don't want to be in an accountability group and you're producing as much as you'd like to, totally fine. If you are not in an accountability group and you are not producing as much as you would like to, get in an accountability group. We'll make sure that we put you in the right one. So that's what we're making an effort to do. I'm going to tread water while Bailey's out. So please do reach out and you'll see me. So we're going to do goal setting is in the next month or so. And I'll be more involved with goal setting this year just because Bailey's not going to be here, hopefully for 2 or 3 months, but probably for 1. So that's going to be another goal, is make sure that, you know, the wheels don't fall off while she's gone. And then we need to make 2 new hires. And I'm not sure when we'll make these. It's much more important to make the right hires than it is to make a fast hire. We need a manager who's focused on recruiting. We will never have a full-time recruiter. There's no reason to. There's not enough agents to recruit. But we want a manager who can recruit better than I can. And then we need to hire a manager who is listing coordination focused. So right now, Bailey takes the lead on the LC process. And we need somebody to take that off of her plate to open up her time elsewhere. I know on good word that there are some really good transaction coordinators that are leaving Realty Austin to start their own companies. So if you guys have used our LCTC and it's just not for you, because we have, what I always tell people is like, ours is stripped down intentionally. It's what worked for me and it works for a lot of you. But a lot of agents want, you know, more than that. You want to be able to call somebody, you want to be able to ask them to write amendments, things like that. If that's what you'd like, it's phenomenal. And we already have Beck and Nail, who's really good for that. And there's going to be a couple of other TCs that are going to become available. And we're going to partner with these guys and introduce you guys to them. But we do need somebody. We need to make this hire. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. I really, really dislike hiring for staff because it's really hard, but we'll get it right. Before we get to Market Watch, like open forum. Okay.
So I just completed the APR designation a couple of weeks ago, and a large amount of time was spent on the lawsuits, etc. So, and so, do you have any thoughts about that ability to absorb a lot of the two?
Yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about that. I talked about it at the deal with Max, and Emily Chenevert totally disagreed with me, which is, I mean, fine. Like there's multiple perspectives on it. One of my good friends and mentors, when Code Next was being talked about, was that like 3 or 4 years ago? And he's a builder, and I was like, hey, what do you think about Code Next? Like, well, and he's like, I don't care, man, I don't know. It's like, what do you mean? This is what you do. He's like, I will pay attention really quickly if it passes. I'm not going to spend any time thinking about this. I know it's out there. I know that it could pass. I'm aware of that. If it passes, I will react very quickly. It was a great strategy because he didn't waste any time on it because Code Next like died, right? So with these lawsuits, I would encourage everybody to be aware of them. I would encourage everybody to lose absolutely zero sleep over it. And again, going back to like likelihoods and probabilities, most of the time, the extreme on either end is not going to happen. Most of the time, something in the middle is going to happen. So the most extreme is buyers have to write a check at closing for your buyer's agent commission. That's the most extreme, right? They cannot roll it into their loan. You can't have the seller pay for it in closing costs, something like that. That's really unlikely to happen. If that happens, everybody in this room will take more market share. I guarantee you, because there will be many agents running around like chickens with their heads cut off, won't have any idea what they're going to do. We're going to move really quickly to figure out what the new strategy is, and we will train everybody on the right strategy at that point in time. The most likely scenario here is an additional provision in the listing agreement. Right now, what's changed? You used to be able to, you had to write at least $1 into the buyer's agent commission on the MLS, right? Big news, guys, you can now write in $0, okay? So we're not guaranteed $1 anymore on buyer agent commission. So they made that systemic change. It's like a show of good faith. Like, hey, yes, we are telling sellers that they don't have to pay the commission. more than likely there'll be a provision that says like, you know, initial here, I'm aware that I don't have to offer a buyer's agent commission. Who here will reduce their commission on a listing presentation? Like if you have a good listing in front of you and somebody says, you know, I like you, I want to work with you, but I'm not going to pay you the full 6%. Who will do that? I will. If it's a great listing, I absolutely will, right? I would get pitched all the time on, why don't you do it for 5%? We'll offer the buyer's agent 2.5% and you get 2.5%. Has anybody heard that? What I would always say is I am fine with 2.5%. I highly encourage you to offer 3%. On my own listings, I offer 3%. And the reason why is that buyer's agents will work against you. I think it's silly, but they will. And you will more than likely lose more money than that 0.5 point if you do that. Leave it to you. I'll still take the listing at 2.5 if you really want to do it, but I've never had a seller say, fine, 2.5, right? So it'll be a conversation. Like maybe they read something that says they don't have to pay a buyer's agent commission, the buyer can pay it. And then you guys who are all really, really good advisors will say something very similar to what you probably have discussions with them about offering a reduced buyer's agent commission. That's the most likely scenario. But again, in a terrible case scenario, it's not seismic. I mean, it may be like seismic-ish, but it's not anything that's going to put us all out of business. It's something that you guys will win, because when there is disruption, good agents win. You guys might not feel it like it right now, but everybody here is winning with the market disruption. Everybody here is taking market share. They're optimizing their own business. You guys are all working your butts off. Everybody's here. You guys are going to see really big gains in 2025. You're going to see some gains next year over 2023, but you're going to see these really amazing gains in 2025, because when there's disruption, people who are willing to work hard, people who are smart, care about their jobs, come out ahead. It's just what happens. Ruth, I'm sorry, Yvonne, read the next question. The what? Oh man.
Not the building part, but just the new leasing part, just, is there a big drop-in desk to ever just like drop in and work?
Yeah, there is. I mean, you can come in anytime. Yeah, you can come in anytime you'd like to. Yeah, so we took, I mean, what I always tell people is we have 3,000 square feet of really poorly laid out space where we currently are. And we're going to be in that space until probably the end of next year. But everybody's welcome to come anytime you want to. The reason why I mentioned it's poorly laid out is that we have there's 2 rooms that are like dungeon rooms. They don't have windows. That really sucks. You know, you can always work there. Like the most pleasant place to work, and Philip comes in probably more than anybody, is in the conference room. The conference room is a conference room plus all this other space that really should be 2 spaces. So like if somebody has a meeting, then you get kicked out. But yeah, you can always go in there, and there's a 90% chance you're going to be able to work in the conference room. It is pleasant. If you like pigeons, like you can hear the pigeons on the roof. So, but with the office space, so we're still moving forward on building that office. It's been a disaster nightmare of a process. Our backup plan is to just go lease some space similar to like what Capital Title has, where we'd have like a hopefully office front and then like some really nice office. I'd love to hear feedback from you guys. Like, I really like the idea of like this storefront on Burnett. It's not a money thing at all. It's actually would be cheaper to do that than it would be to do the office space. It's just been, it's taken 18 months so far. And now we have a psycho neighbor that I'm trying to deal with that we have to get a signed doc. I don't want to vent on it. It sucks. So, but by the end of next year, we'll be in a better space. But please come in. I know you live close by. Come in anytime. So. When am I moving in? Yeah. It's been a topic. I love her. Like I'm bummed that we're not going to get to spend time with her while she's really awesome. Kim is good friends with our neighbor who's pretty elderly, and she like loves Beck, and we're looking forward to. We should hopefully be in that house in the next 2 months. We were supposed to be in by the end of the summer, so whatever. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. It is, trust me, it's a sore subject. It has been a labor of love for my wife. I'll put it that way. We should have finished it a year ago. Vicky.
Well, the October 24th meeting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the only time that we don't tape stuff now, and that's one of the reasons I love this room so much, is their AV is really awesome, is when I forget. So we forgot to do the meeting the other day. I didn't forget to do today. Like I'm making like an effort, like, hey, this is important, hit record. So yeah. Yeah, and we do try on stuff like that. We'll try to trim it down. So did you go to the lead conversion secret sauce meeting or no? I don't think you did. It was a couple months ago. We took it, we had the full meeting online, and then we chopped it up into a couple more digestible pieces. So we try to do that.
Oh, yeah, I was there.
Yeah. What's that? Yes, the recipe cards. Awesome. The salsa. Yeah. Cool. What else, Bailey?
One thing that Sheldon and I got to talk about was the community first event next Thursday. So, I think there's only 10 people who signed up so far. There's 15 available.
Please sign up, guys. The weather will be nice. So if you haven't been to Community First, it's an amazing, amazing organization, and the workload is kind of light, but you get to talk with the residents while you're there, and it's like as much to like get to know the organization. Robin, you should definitely check it out. Like it's a really awesome thing, and the homeless problem is, I mean, it's not getting any better. So these guys seem to have a really awesome, you know, not solution necessarily, but a good option for a lot of these guys.
Shelby will send out a reminder on Thursday. Yeah. Read my email. Click on the links to sign.
I haven't signed up. I'll sign up. Yeah. I think Allie's going to come too.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Mhm.
I haven't seen shit.
Yeah, I'll have to remind her. Oh, you know, not to like have a pointed jab, but benefit to husband and wife not being business partners, kind of obvious. Allie and I did work together for a while, and we value our marriage more than we value that relationship. So her granddad was this really amazing guy. Like he was a bomber pilot in World War II. He flew over D-Day, came back, like, started this epic business. And then like he just didn't talk a whole lot, but you gave Howard like a couple of whiskeys and he would talk. And we came in, we were like in our late 20s, early 30s, and I was like, Allie and I are going to work together. And he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, it works out. You can't fire her." I love her to death, and that's why we don't work together. So. Cool. Anything else? Market Watch, coming soons. Buyer needs. Bailey, do you want to? Or you have to leave, don't you? Shelby's going to do it. Thank you guys for listening to me, by the way. I was kind of nervous to give this. So.
All right. I'm taking over Market Watch for Bailey today. So we'll get started. Any coming soons? Casey.
I have 5 acres out in the Cedar Creek Bastrop area. And there aren't a lot of deed restrictions. Probably gonna list about 400, 425. It's on Weberville Road. It's got buildings on it right now, but all the values. And we're gonna get some aerials taken. They'd love to sell off market. We'd love to sell in 2023. And then I've got something in Northwest Hills that's in the MLS right now, just hit 1 story, 4 bedrooms, plus an office, plus a she shed in the back, listed at 1.35. It is awesome. It was taken to the studs in 2019. And then I'm gonna have something else coming up in Northwest Hills on probably one of the best streets. If you want really authentic Northwest Hills feeding to Doss, and it's gonna be about 2,700 square feet.
What street?
Right now, probably gonna list about the same.
What street was that on?
It is gonna be on Narrow.
Okay.
That's all I can say right now.
Okay.
And it's great. It's a great street. Yeah.
Okay.
All day, they do it all. It's not pretty related. But yes, and that's what I have.
Thank you. Jeremy.
I've got one, just fine, coming in South Austin, 7748 off of Strickland, just south of Ditmar. It's a 4-2, but kind of more like a 3-2 office, 1,900 square feet. So we
Talk about the vibes when you're done.
but it is, you know, it needs all the stuff. So we're gonna price it accordingly, probably in the lower 4s. Which I think will be pretty competitive over there. And there is no much to say about the house. I always have to tell you about this. No, I mean, it's like 5-minute drive to all that good stuff, Armadillo Den, South Austin Beer Garden Brewery, the Hive Coffee, that whole strip of new stuff on the site right now. So, I think that's it.
Cool. Thank you. Vicki?
I have my son's house coming soon, very soon. About 2,900 plus square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms on almost 3 acres, also in Cedar Creek. He has an in-ground pool and a cabana. You can have a horse. He doesn't have the fencing for a horse. You can have a horse there in that neighborhood. Some of the neighbors do have horses. It's real close to the Hyatt West Pines Resort, if you know where that is, off of Hope Bend Road. And we'll be in the probably mid 600s, maybe slightly above that. 3 acres, yeah, 2.78 acres.
It was mid sixes, right? You said?
I think maybe around 670. We're so happy on that.
Okay. Cool. Anyone else? Angela?
We have a house. It's fresh on the market, but it begs for a little explanation. It's cute. It is functioning as a 3-1, but the seller or the owner before my sellers, it was a 4-2, and she took it down to a 2-1. And created a bedroom. So now it's 3-1. But the fact of the matter is the plumbing is there. So if somebody wants to take a 1-bedroom house and eventually add in the second one, you know, most of the expense is plumbing, right, under the slab. So it's adorable and it photographs beautifully. It's just not getting the visibility because although there are some 1-bedrooms in that neighborhood. Oh, sorry, Quail Hollow.
Quail Hollow.
Close to the domain on the, can't remember right now. I've been taking this. So it's so cute. House. It's got cowboy pools, it's got one of those stockade pools. It's got a lovely backyard with raised vegetable beds and a covered back porch. And just look at it, it's 10,007 quail hut, and it is $425.
she's trying to sell it, guys.
There are 3 and 4 bedrooms with 2 full baths, but they need to be completely renovated. Ours is a 3-sided fireplace. It's really darling. So please take a look if you have somebody that wants something in that price point and they want to go into something that's move-in ready.
Cool.
All the features are there. It's just that it's down on that.
Look it up.
But it can be about that. Put it in bed.
I see why you needed a story now.
That's fine. It's just where we have to think outside the box.
Yeah.
A 2-1 is not even visible on the MLS. So we just sheetrocked it up and made it 3-1. But even if
Nice.
you want to,
It's a lot of options. Yes. Cool. Nancy Towdy, I think you had.
yeah, have one coming up in the next couple weeks. Sage Creek Loop, my next door neighbor sold while I was gone in France. So it's always nice to have a sale while I'm out of town. But now I get to sell her house. So it's going to be $899. It's just 2,000 square feet, really urban.
And Nancy's husband built the house, so he warranties it for 30 years.
Yeah. And Sage Creek Loop. Yeah, it's just off Elida and about a mile from South Congress. And then there'll be a single story across the street. The reason why my client sold was because her daughter across the street sold. So Katie and I will be sharing that one like Katie doesn't think. That's all it'll be on.
You have your hands full. Anyone else coming soon? Brooke.
I've got a really fun weird little place in technically Leander, but it's like towards the lake. It's on 2 acres, little like fixer house. It'll be in 400s. I'm working on a golden cottage in 04 that's like, for various reasons, will have to stay the original, but the location is the same. So probably in the 900s on that one. I've got several buyers. I've got someone looking for Western Oaks, not the village of Western Oaks, but Western Oaks in Southwest Austin, under 800. It's like coming soon, they're off market. And a few people looking for multifamily in 04. And someone looking for something interesting, original, you know, architecturally interesting in 04 under like.
Thank you.
And Ruth organized a Travis Heights open house this weekend, so we have about 16 houses. Yeah, 16 houses that are gonna be open Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, and the gift card for, I think, a restaurant off South Congress will run to probably $300 gift card. So we're doing the passport thing, they stamp or you go over and text them. And then get it. So both Saturday and Sunday.
Awesome. Do you want to post that in the Facebook group?
Sure.
Thank you. Any other buyer needs? Kind of segueing into that. Yes, Yvonne.
Looking like in the North Loop area or not farther than Crestview. And then if you can't do 2 or 4, they're good with like 10S, under 600. And she's an interior designer, so it doesn't need to be totally redone. She actually prefers to do the work. So, and it could be a smaller 2-1. She's just looking for good rental history when it's all said and done. She definitely wants to live in it first, fix it up, and then lease it out. So 600 and under, if you don't have anything. DPO and any.
Yes, Nancy.
A buyer need in Breaker Woods, somewhere in the $1.5 million range, preferably fully renovated. A minimum of a 3-2, but anything larger.
Does it need to be just Bramlett Elementary? Can it be originally yet?
I think that's possible. I've been trying to convince them to move like Fred a little bit further to the north. And they're looking at properties I'm sending them, so that could be a possibility.
Yes, Ruth.
I have a dear friend that I've been working with for 6 months, and she wants something under 1.2 modern, AB unit, great garage, room for a plunge pool. She's okay with an outdoor pool. This week she's okay with it.
What about 6 months ago?
She wants area where we tear down. She lives in Brighton Woods. Yeah, it's really nice.
Someone please help Ruth.
1.2.
Anyone have any ideas for Ruth? The lighting is very cool tone.
Anyway, and I do have a fixer upper coming up, which I'm hoping I'll sell later on, so I'll just keep quiet. If she didn't buy it, I'll like,
Is Yvonne in on this plan?
she just let me know.
This is news. Thank you. Any other buyer needs?
I have a cash buyer, up to, he wants to, I think right now it's up to 400. There's kind of just like nothing, in the inventory that he really likes right now for anything new. He wants a Mueller, so he kind of is looking, we did a north tour and a south tour, and he believes that north is a little bit better for him just because of the view. He does, commute like on a daily basis, so that's important. Really, like a 30-minute, then a 30-minute drive from Mueller. A 3-2 is fine for him, and just over 1,400 square feet. So maybe even like Tech Ridge area, we're looking at that area. We did look at Cedar Brook too. That's as far as he would go. Just something that's in the market because we pretty much have seen everything that's out there.
Anyone else? Rob?
I just have a kind of a story to tell that maybe would be helpful.
Okay, yeah.
I have a client who is a partner of Samsung, and they're looking to buy some property for their employees who are moving out here to help build that complex up in the Maynard Taylor area. So I've spent a lot of time up there the last couple months to get this deal done, but that is area, if you've not been up there, is going to change the economic epicenter of Austin. It is absolutely enormous what they're building. We've all driven past the Tesla plant. This is going to put that to shame. It is huge.
You talking about the Samsung one?
What's that?
The Samsung one?
Yeah.
I drove past it the other day. It's floored. Like
There's like 24 cranes out there right now building this thing.
What?
It's incredible.
I would never recommend driving to Taylor for anything other than just like go up there and look at it.
So they had Williamson County judge went to Korea to tour the plant that is a shadow of the market. And the judge came back and he told everyone in county management, we're not prepared. Like, we don't have the infrastructure for this. We don't have the water, we don't have the sewer, we don't have the roads. Like, we're in a lot of trouble. And so they are rapidly trying to get the infrastructure in place or pay for the infrastructure, but they also aren't making Samsung pay any taxes for like 20 years. So that's actually a challenge.
So I was going to say, it's a piggyback on this. So guys, who knew where Cedar Creek was 3 years ago? I didn't know where it was 3 years ago. I thought it was down water. Yes. Yeah. And like now, like they're building all these houses there. This is what's going to happen to Taylor. Like it's huge. It's massive. Sorry, I hijacked it.
No. I had no idea. I kind of heard that Samsung was coming up out there, but it is, you're going to have a lot of interest in. I had a hard time, this particular client who's a chemical manufacturer that Samsung needs. So they're building a small factory right next to the Samsung plant. Needed 4 houses for his construction leadership team to live in. And I had a heck of a time finding them something, but I did. So if you have a client that's a corporate client who's looking to buy homes, because a lot of these builders are like, no, we're not selling to investors. And so it's just regular people. But if they have an LLC, Taylor Morrison at Emory Crossing will sell to your clients. So if you have that corporate client who's looking to purchase a few homes, then you have an LLC, Taylor Morrison will take care of them up there at Emory Crossing. So I just last week got 3 houses under contract.
Dang. Congrats.
Built yet, but
On the side, Taylor Morrison has the structural team. We had an issue up in the sky. I don't know what for that community. If the house is less than 6 years old and it was, so I will need to find out what they will do and would be the security.
Yes.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
real quick, that made me think, Ruth. So one thing we talked about with Brooke and some other people who sell a lot in urban core is the fact that these infill builders, like their warranty is only as good as like they are, right? And so you can buy, if you're concerned about the Taylor Morrison thing, you can buy third-party 1021s. And so if you have somebody who's concerned and really wants to buy I would just build that into the contract. I mean, they're negotiating right now, and I just be like, guys, since you're not going to warranty it, you just need to pay for this. You know, that's what I would do on that.
Yeah, we would at least see.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the fire walked out.
Oh man.
Philip, you had something?
Yes, I don't have a coming soon. I have been on the market way too long. Tear down the 7704. It's been in contract 4 times. Called off. Tree right on the lot. And we just got the permit yesterday. Big awesome line. But so we will be aggressively marketing it against 2206 at Hassan. So obviously it's all been filters of that have had. Now I have that cleared. They have it listed at 890. We're under contract twice at 875, and then she's a little bit lower than that. So I would say we'll probably take some. About 7,500 square feet.
And is it definitely a tear down or just?
Yeah, 800 square feet, built in 49.
Cool. Any other buyer needs coming soon? Final observations? No. Cool. Thank you guys. Eric needs to talk about the pies really quickly, so I'm going to hand it off to him.
So I want to thank the McGuire team for kind of taking the lead on this, but we have a deal worked out. The pie's in the back, and please grab some pie on the way out. Shay Z is going to give us a special. Their pies are normally $32. They're going to sell them to us for $24. The McGuire team and probably Bramlett Residential as well, we're going to do a toy drive / pie giveaway. And we feel like adding this charity element to it. One, it's a really good thing. I heard through the grapevine that Blue Santa didn't have enough toys last year. And yeah, what's that? Yeah, yeah. And so in the past, hand delivering pies is awesome. Like, not if that's your thing, do that. What we are going to try out is massive effort. Like, hey, we have a free pie for you. You need to bring a toy to the office. So you get that face to face. Everybody feels great. You're doing a really good thing. And then with Shay Z, we're going to give them a coupon, and they can go redeem it. They can go redeem it at Shay Z. They can actually do it online. We worked out a deal where it's actually slightly easier with their POS. If you guys are interested in doing, like, one, if you want to do Shay Z, you can just call. Her name's Sherry. She's awesome. Sherry or Sharon? She's Sharon. Yeah, she's super, super sweet. She's owned it forever. If you're interested in doing this toy drive thing, get with me. We'll talk with the McGuires. We'll probably put together like maybe an email group or something like that while we flesh this out. But man, like, kids are great. Like, kids who don't have toys sucks. Let's fix that. So yeah. What's that? We're going to do, the giveaway will be leading up to Thanksgiving. So what dates when are you guys going to start? It can be different. It can be different flavors. Like, for us at the office, we will probably just say, if you guys are not aware, like, it's work from home on Fridays. So if you come to the office on Friday, it'll always be empty. But we'll say, like, hey, drop off Monday through Thursday. And we're going to try to just get as many toys as we possibly can. I mean, that's what we're going to try to do. And I would encourage, the McGuires are going to do 200 of them, I think. Sharon was really kind and said that if you go over the 200, she's just going to give away a $5 gift card to Shay Z. So if you guys are interested in doing it, like, that would be so killer if like, as a group, we put together, like, we can get like 1,000 toys or something, I think, at the end of the day. So, yeah.
And I think Shay Z will only charge you if they review.
That's correct. Yeah. So what we'll do with it is it'll be through their POS. We'll have a unique coupon code for every single person that gets a pie. And if you give away, you guys know, if you give away 200 of these, you're going to have like 150 of them redeemed. But who cares if it's 200 of them? Like, that's awesome. Like, you just did a really good thing. So anyways, that's my pitch on it. What's that? Yeah. Please eat the pies. Like, I'm not taking them home. So cool. Thank you, everybody online, for coming. I can't believe everybody stayed as long as they did. So.